Hello everyone and welcome to another video of the Sky channel. Now this is going to be a more in-depth continuation of the previous Rush video that I made a long time ago, and this will specifically focus on the Relic Rush. So one of the things that I really want to do is that I want to get all of these mounts that are available in the Rush shop. The reason is, of course, they give major bonuses, like this is giving 10% ignore evasion, this one is giving 6% ignore stun, this one gave me a global attack of 10%, and this one would give me a global health of 10%. These are, of course, major bonuses which can help me a lot in PvP, but to add to that, each of these mounts can be used in the parking wars, giving me amazing adventure rewards that I can use to get much stronger. Now to buy these, I need to have these Skyrider passes, and the way to get Skyrider passes is by ranking high in Rush events. For this specific Rush event, which is our Relic Rush, you can see that the number 1 rank gets about 10 Skyrider passes, number 2 gets 6, and number 3 gets 5. Number 4 and 5 gets 4, and then up to 10 you get 3, and then up to 20 you get 2. You definitely want to make sure that you are at least in the top 20. Me personally, every Rush event I try to be either rank 1 or rank 2. And by the way, I do it each month. So these 2 million relic shards were obtained within 1 month. And last month I was ranked number 1 with about 1.6 million. Therefore, in these 2 events, I will end up with about 16 total Skyrider passes purely from the Relic Rush. Now you can see rank number 1 has about 3 million, but they confirmed that they actually didn't do it last time, so they have it stocked up from 2 events. So how am I able to get 2 million of these relic shards? Well, more than 2 million, because I still have some remaining and there's some days that are still pending in 1 month. That's what I'm going to cover in this video. I'll also teach you certain ways that I'm not currently using, which can get you ranking even higher if you do them consistently. So let's start with the stuff that I do. Number 1 is the very obvious one. I never miss the ruined ancient city, and I make sure that I go through each of those 3, and then I also use the ads to get those extra 2 keys and then use them to get the certain relic shards that I need, and that gets me extra relic shards each day. So while it says 5,750 relic shards, you get more based on the amount of remaining defense that you had left at the end of the battle. Now in this case, I ended up a little unlucky, and one of the team members, they actually got killed, so we lost a little bit of defense. So you have to make sure that you're matched with a very strong team, so you do not end up in this situation where you end up losing some of your defense and therefore get less than the maximum amount of prizes. If you have 10 out of 10 remaining defense at the end of this, you actually get about double of 5,750 at my particular level. Okay, so make sure that you do all of the ruined ancient city trials every single day, including the 2 that you get from ads. Another important thing that I do every day is I go to the family shop and I buy that guardian key, which allows me to do an extra ruined ancient city trial for that day. So at minimum, I'll be doing 6 of these every single day. And here you go, you can see that if I win with 10 out of 10 remaining defense, I get a plus 100% of the reward, so double of what it showed in the base rewards. So you want to make sure that you always try to end with 10 out of 10 defense. That way you're actually getting more shots than you are otherwise if you are losing some of those defense. Now, a lot of this has to do with the team that you're matched up with. You could be extremely strong and you could still end up having a third member of your team lose and then have some of these NPCs get past their row. So if you are seeing that your defense is getting lowered, leave immediately. It won't use your keys, and try again until you get a good matchup. Now some of you may be wondering, how do I get all of these family contribution points to buy these keys every single day? Well, first of all, you can get some from the Blazing Cave. That gives you a decent number of these contribution points every day. You can get some from donations, And of course, from participating in the Grumpy Big Head raids, especially if you are online during the raid, you get double the amount of the contribution points. Alright, so what else can we do? Well, if you go into the parking wars, you'll notice that some of the mounts actually have adventure rewards that can be particularly helpful to get even more relics. For example, the Cloud Drifter has this random dungeon key, which might include the Guardian key, allowing you to get those relics from that trial. You can see the similar thing in the Magic Broom. You can see it in the Hot Wheels as well as the Hot Air Balloon. And then if you go here, you will notice that the Flyboard also gives specifically Guardian keys. So not random, which could be either of the keys. This one is specifically talking about the Guardian keys, making this quite an attractive option for you to park. And it also gives you relic shards by itself. So of course, this is another great option for your parking if you want to focus on getting as many relic shards as possible for the rush event. So sometimes through parking, I can get extremely lucky and end up with a lot of Guardian keys and therefore a lot of relic shards, giving me a very nice edge against most of the other people in our server. Another thing that I keep handy is if you take a look at the cross-server showdown and go into the exchange tab, you can actually buy up to 5 relic dungeon keys per week. Now, I only use this in case of emergencies, if I need a little jump in my relic shards. In order to win the rank 1, I might end up using about 1,000 of these crystals to get up to 5 Guardian keys and a little over 50,000 relic shards. That being said, I think this is a very expensive thing to do, so I try my best to not have to do this and only use this in case of emergencies. Another thing is that there are certain rush events that give you relic shards. These rush events includes the ones that have to do with the fruit bonuses, the ones that have to do with pals, as well as skills. So finishing those rush events will give you 40,000 extra relic shards that you can then save for the Relic Rush event. Another thing that you could do is that you could go into the limited time shop and check out the daily deals section. In this, you have the ability to buy a Guardian key as well as 3 other different types of dungeon keys for $1 each day. So if you want, you could be doing this throughout the month and they'll give you up to 31 extra Guardian keys until the end of the next Relic Rush event. This of course could add up to a major number of relic shards and therefore a much higher chance of getting rank 1. Keep in mind that this is something that I do not really use, but of course if I did, I'd have even more relic shards than I currently do every single month. Now you could also buy relic shards using Relic Rush packs. I don't generally do this. I have done it once when I was extremely close to rank number 1. This was before I used to buy the keys regularly and I was really close to rank 1, so I decided to buy using these packs and get myself rank 1 and get the mount that I really wanted. But this is extremely expensive and not really worth the money. If you look over here, the $5 pack actually gives you 10,000 relic shards. Keep in mind that one Guardian key gives more than 10,000 relic shards and you can get a Guardian key plus 3 other dungeon keys for $1. So you can see how this is not worth the money. Now in my case, it was just about a minute left before the rush event ended. I actually went over and got the key and then I realized that I don't have time to use the key to get the shards and then get myself rank 1, so I ended up going through the more expensive route, which is basically this. And you can see that the price is extremely high if you're trying to go this route to get yourself a high rank. I would not recommend it overall. The value you get from rush events is by getting these mounts at a much cheaper price, and if you decide to spend so much in getting them, you might as well just spend that money in getting a better paid mount than going through this route and getting these mounts that you'll eventually get for free anyway. Finally, I think it's very important to note that you should not use relic shards outside of this event. That, of course, is a given. If you want to rank really high, you have to be patient and only use the relic shards during the Relic Rush event. The key thing about ranking high in rush events is patience. As you can see, if somebody's been saving relic shards for 2 months, they have a much higher chance of ranking number 1. That being said, if you are consistent and do all these things that I've mentioned, you could be ranking 1 or 2 in almost every Relic Rush event. And since I still have you here, I do want you to know that you can get between 10 to 35% bonus on in-game purchases in the Legend of Mushroom, which means that if you bought a $100 pack, you'll get at least $10 worth of credits that you can then use to get another pack. The steps are pretty simple. Just follow the video that I'm going to be linking in the description below and see how you can avail those bonuses. You can get stuff much cheaper if you decide to start spending in the game using my promo code. The video will go through the whole thing in a lot of detail, including what Aptoide gets out of it, what the developers get out of it, and what I get out of it as well, because I do benefit when you decide to use my promo code. I also want you to know that the promo code changes every 2 months. Right now, up until 7th August, the promo code is going to be SKYMUSH2. And at that point, it's going to change, and I will communicate the new promo code to all of you on my YouTube channel, or if you join our Discord, you'll be able to check it there as well. So keep updated with the new promo codes because the old ones expire and then they don't work, so you need to refresh and put in the new promo code in order to continue getting those amazing bonuses. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video and learned something from it. If you liked it, please like, please subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.